Hey everybody, I'm here today to talk to you about some highway defensive driving strategies to keep you safe. That's right. The topic of this video will be me telling you about some highway defensive driving strategies to keep you safe. So if you want to stay safe on the highway, you need defensive driving strategies. These are 5 strategies. Let's get into this video. I'm going to try and keep it relatively short and sweet. Number 1 is to pick the proper lane. Very important to pick the proper lane. On the highway, in most places, there is sort of like an unwritten rule. In some places, I believe it is an actual law or rule, but in most places, it's an unwritten rule where essentially there's going to be 4 lanes. The 2 lanes in the center are like your driving lanes. Okay. The leftmost lane is going to be a passing lane, and the rightmost lane is going to be a merging lane where you use that lane if you're about to get off the highway, or you use that lane if you just got onto the highway. So pick the appropriate lane. Don't abuse the situation and, drive in the right lane super fast or drive in the left lane super slow. Like, don't do that. Just pick the right lane. Pick the appropriate lane. Very simple. It will help you, and honestly, it will prevent you from getting everyone else on the highway angry. Very simple. Okay? Defensive driving strategy number 2. So the second defensive driving strategy that I want to talk about for highway defensive driving is don't speed. Number 2 is don't speed. Definitely do not speed. Okay? Now, I can tell you that most of the time, most of the people on the highway will be driving a regular sort of good flow of traffic speed, but then you always get those crazy people that are just driving way too fast. And at the end of the day, speeding is dangerous for you. It's dangerous for everyone else. And honestly, what I found through many experimenting and sort of seeing is that going faster than the speed limit, because I kind of experimented by going by looking at the flow of traffic versus the person who is driving 20 kilometers an hour over the speed limit. And what I've seen is that the person who's driving over the speed limit doesn't really get anywhere much faster because they'll usually hit a wall of traffic up ahead. So they speed, then they hit a wall of traffic, and then we all join the same group again. So when I look at myself driving at the flow of traffic, which is basically the speed limit, and I compare myself to someone else that's flying on the highway, we usually end up in the same spot at the same time when we all hit that wall of traffic at some point. So honestly, it's not even worth it to speed, but don't speed anyways because it's very unsafe. Okay? That leads me to number 3. Number 3 is always look, I got to move my paper because my notes got tucked into the dashboard here. Number 3 is always look ahead for slowdowns. So very important to always look ahead for slowdowns as number 3, because if there's a slowdown up ahead and you don't brake, then you could cause a chain accident of cars. So driving on the highway when you're driving on the highway, it's super important to look many cars ahead, because if there's a slowdown, you'll know in advance and you can start braking earlier. If you have to smash your brakes, right, to not hit the person in front of you, then you might not hit them, but you smash your brakes so the person behind you might hit you, and then there might be a chain reaction. So always look ahead for slowdowns and be prepared to deal with those slowdowns. Number 4 is to always signal. Always signal for number 4. Honestly, I've been driving for about 20 years now, just over 20 years, roughly 20 years at the time of filming this, but since I film my stuff in advance, when you see this, it might be 20 and a half years or something like that, give or take. I still, to this day, always signal whenever I'm turning, changing lanes, pulling over. It takes 2 seconds. Stop being so cocky. You need to signal. I know you're oh, why do I need to signal? There's no one else on the road. Signal! I don't care if you think there's no one else on the road. The person 500 feet behind you might be going 100 kilometers an hour faster than you, and they need to know you're changing lanes, right? Or whatever the case, so just always signal. Don't be lazy and signal. Honestly, I'm not going to go on a rant. I could rant about this. Just don't be lazy. Don't be cocky. Humble yourself and signal. Okay? Last but not least, number 5 for defensive driving is 2 hands on the wheel. Now, obviously, this is not I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I drive with 1 hand on the wheel, but I basically try and drive with 2 hands on the wheel as much as I can. In my younger days, it was more arm out the window or arm to the side, but now that I learned, I've grown older and I have a wife and I have 4 kids. So, I have a wife and together we have 4 kids. So when I'm driving, I have 6 lives in my hand. When I'm driving me, my wife and our 4 kids together, 2 hands on the wheel. That allows you to be a defensive driver, allows you to be as safe as possible. That's it. Those are 5 highway defensive driving strategies to keep you safe while driving on the highway. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Let me know what you think down below as a comment. And of course, be sure to subscribe for more great videos just like this one. And that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching.